60 Minutes with Angela starts right now.
Nigeria's Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, says it has recorded more convictions than any other anti-graft agency in Nigeria. In the first quarter of 2017, it says it has achieved 62 convictions. Hello and welcome to the program. I'm Angela Ajetumobi. And so the spokesperson for Nigeria's Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, Wilson UWUJAREN, joins me now on the program to discuss those convictions and a lot more. At one time, Nigeria was one of the 23 countries they say were non-cooperative in the international community efforts to fight money laundering. This was a statement by the Financial Action Task Force on money laundering. And I thought that surely couldn't have been the only reason why we needed an Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. So why was this commission set up in the first place?
Around 2003, thereabouts, the administration of President Olusegun Obasanjo felt there was a need to have an agency that would tackle what we call economic and financial crimes. The impetus for the creation of the commission at that time was as a result of the prevalence of advanced fraud majorly in Nigeria. We had a band of 419ers that were giving the country bad image, bad reputation across the world.
Yes.
And the government felt there was a need to take a holistic approach in fighting basically 419 or that type of crimes.
Yes.
And that was the reason why the EFCC was created. And we have the mandate of enforcing all laws that pertains to economic and financial crimes in the country.
I like the way you put that, all laws that partake to economic and financial crime. So you're not restricted to the laws that are stated in the act that set up the commission.
Absolutely. The EFCC Act is just one among several laws that the commission enforces. If you take a copy of that act, I think section 6, the act itemizes all the relevant laws that the commission enforces. And some of them include the Money Laundering Act, the Advanced Fraud Act, the Miscellaneous Offences Act, the Banks and Other Financial Institutions Act, and several others.
Okay, so now I'm beginning to understand better, because sometimes when we see the EFCC take an action, we see reactions from people saying you are overstepping your boundaries, but it looks like many people don't understand the scope of the powers that the commission has.
The scope is actually enormous. It covers a lot of things. That's why, for instance, people don't understand the point of demarcation between EFCC, ICPC, and Code of Conduct.
Yes.
Because though our mandates are similar, even what they are supposed to do, the law that established EFCC also gives us the power to carry out some of those functions. It's actually a very broad mandate.
Wow. Okay, so it is easy for everyone to assume, myself included, then that every corruption case we read about in the courts or every corruption case we see in the papers is being prosecuted by the EFCC. But that is not true.
That is not true. I agree with you.
Yes.
EFCC is just one among the anti-corruption agencies that we have in the country.
Okay.
I mentioned ICPC now.
Yes.
There's also Code of Conduct Bureau.
Yes.
And even if you look at NATI, do not anti-corruption agency, but they also do some of the duties that we do in terms of fighting corruption in the extractive industries. So
yes.
EFCC is just one among several other agencies that fight corruption. The police is the mother of all these agencies. The police also fight corruption. In fact, if you look at history, most of these agencies that we're talking about emanate from the Nigerian police force. So the police also have a duty to fight corruption. And recently you also witnessed DSS saying they also have a responsibility to fight corruption.
In my introduction, I talked about how the EFCC is saying they've recorded more convictions than any other anti-graft agency. So far, you say you have secured 340 convictions and recovered billions of dollars in the last 6 months. In the first quarter of this year, you had 62 convictions. Shouldn't it be more? And if you agree with me that these convictions could be more, what are the challenges that the Commission is facing that makes it unable to get the kind of convictions Nigerians are looking for? Convictions of the big names.
It could be more, but we are also happy that we are able to do so much in spite of the encumbrances that we face in various courts across the land. As like you rightly mentioned, the record that we have, I don't think there's any other government agency, whether law enforcement or otherwise, that have that record in terms of prosecution, criminal prosecution in Nigeria. It is not easy to get a case through a Nigerian court, especially when you are dealing with high-profile persons who have enormous resources at their disposal to engage the best of lawyers. And we don't have that kind of money. You can imagine a case where you have a young lawyer prosecuting for EFCC and you have about 10 senior advocates
on the other side
for the defense. Under our criminal justice system, even if you even go to court, the sitting arrangement first are court privilege to
it's intimidating.
The SAN before they look at the young lawyers. So, and those who are accused of corruption are not there because they want justice. They are there primarily to ensure that they frustrate the process and ensure that the process is stretched and cases are delayed to infinity.
Those adjournments are deliberate.
Most of them are deliberate, especially when you know that somebody has been in government and he has never been reported to be sick. At the moment you take him to court and he's granted bail, the next time he comes with an application, he wants to travel
abroad for medicals.
And then that is argued. He goes. Even when he comes back and the process is gathering momentum, he comes with another frivolous application. When they see that the judge is serious, they accuse the judge of bias. Knowing that once you take a case from a judge and give it to another judge,
it will start all over again. I want to read to you a quotation from the chairman of the Presidential Advisory Committee Against Corruption, Professor Ishesage. He says, "The truth is that an overwhelming number of Nigerian elites see any funds voted or appropriated for any project as their share of the national cake." End of quote. Is that a feeling that you get to in the Commission?
Well, Professor Shage is not a stranger to corruption matters. I think his committee is doing a lot of work there. So if he speaks, then he must be speaking from a position of knowledge. But I wouldn't say that that is our experience here. We don't have biases as far as our approach to matters is. We don't prejudge officials. We only intervene, we only come in when we have evidence that you have done the wrong thing. If we don't have evidence, we don't go after you. But if we have evidence that you have abused your position as a public officer, but it's not all public officers that are corrupt. I wouldn't come there and then castigate all everybody.
Okay, tell us more about the law enforcement and public engagement in Nigeria, initiated by the Clean Foundation and the United States Embassy International Narcotics and Law Enforcement Affairs Office. I think that's a new collaboration with the EFCC.
That is a proposal by the U.S. government to assist the EFCC in improving our preventive mandate, enforcing our preventive mandate by training officers within the Public Affairs Department of the Commission. And it is not a new thing for us because the U.S. government has been intervening over the years in building the capacity of the Commission. They have trained our investigators, they have trained our prosecutors, and now the focus is on public affairs because they believe that the preventive side of the fight against corruption has to be taken more seriously.
When you say preventive side, what do you mean?
Preventive in terms of enlightening people not to get involved in corruption, because over the years, what we have really focused on is enforcement, going after those who have been certified to be corrupt. But now people have this argument that you need to stop corruption before it happens. And that is the reason why there's this new focus on prevention. Educating people not to get involved in corruption, speaking to children, speaking to youth, speaking to the elderly, both men and women, to ensure that they all buy into the fight against corruption. Because the EFCC cannot do it alone. There is a need for citizenship engagement in this fight against corruption.
And that tells me that not everyone agrees on what the definition of corruption is, because sometimes when you're benefiting from the actions, you don't see it as corruption. Is that something that the Commission also experiences?
No, I think those who are corrupt know that they are involved in corruption. But what has happened over the years is this regime of impunity. People believe that they can get away with anything. After all, others have done it. Yes, after others have done it and nothing happened. So that is essentially what is happening.
And then when I looked at your website, the wanted list, I saw Tom Polo there, declared wanted. People say he's not in hiding. He even had birthday celebration some time ago. So when you put someone there on the wanted list, what does that mean?
It means that he has questions to answer. And the Commission has been looking for the person. We have invited and the person refused to respond. We have made attempt to arrest. We can't get the person. So we place such alerts to enable members of the public to report to the Commission if by chance they cite such person. The EFCC cannot be everywhere
at the same time.
So if Tom Polo is not hiding and he comes out, then those who see him can alert the Commission and then we will do the needful.
Thank you very much, Mr. UWUJAREN, for coming on the program with me today. And thank you for watching. I'm Angela Ajetomobi.